Hey, what's up guys? My name is Anand and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about an awesome tool that is from Google that will allow you to really understand the recipe behind generating leads through Google Ads campaign. Now, this recipe is not just for, generating leads, but it's also for demand generation, it's for brand awareness, it's for pushing your e-commerce store, revenue, return on ad spend, pretty much anything that you can think about in terms of growing a business. But the secret behind this entire process is essentially generating leads. So I'm going to be sharing this detailed overview of how this tool works, but really the first step is trying to understand what the formula is. Now, what Google says is that you need to follow these 4 steps in order to get maximum growth. And as you can see, they are focusing really on generating leads. So the first step essentially is, setting your objective. And they have really laid it out, very efficiently. When it comes to setting objective, they will walk you through a detailed process. So as you can see, when I click on set objective, it's first telling me that, hey, I need to map our lead to sale journey. Now I want to show you something really cool what they have done, and that is a conversion calculator. So essentially, if I scroll down, what they are saying is consider the sales cycle, and depending upon that, you can then calculate what your estimated cost per lead is. So calculate the value of your conversion action. Now, if I click on this conversion calculator, it will actually take me to a detailed page. So say for example, you are in, let's say, education industry, right? And say for example, you have, multiple stages from requesting information to application completed, and then student enrollment. You can play around with different industries, but I'm just gonna pick education for now. And as I scroll down, we can actually calculate a custom flow for your business. So what I mean is, let's say the first step involved in the education industry is application submission. So that basically becomes your step 1, right? And then after that, let's say the second step is application review. And it's asking me now, what's the conversion rate from application submission to application review? Let's say 50% of the people, they don't qualify. So that's why the conversion rate is 50%. Now, keep in mind that this is after you get a lead. I'm not talking about visit to a lead. I'm talking about application submission to application review. Let's say the final step is, approval. So I hit continue, and that becomes your final step. And I'm going to say only 10% of the application are actually getting approved because 90% of the people do not qualify, say for example. So in this case, that from application review to approval, it's a 10% conversion rate. And you can still add more steps, but I'm gonna say that's it for now. And finally, what is the average dollar value of a customer completing approval? So in this case, the course that I'm selling is, let's say, worth $5,000. Right? So I'm going to add it over here and hit continue. And then I'm going to hit calculate. So as you can see, the average conversion value over here is $250. That's your cost per acquisition that you can set. And the average conversion value at the application review stage is $500. And of course, if they sign up for your course, it's going to be $5,000. That's pretty awesome, right? Now what you can do is you can download this PDF, and look how cool it looks. This becomes your almost like a talking point. You can use it for a presentation, in your internal meetings. You can use it for setting up budget, financial forecasting, so on and so forth. So that's an awesome tool. I would say you should definitely take a look at. And as I mentioned earlier, you can change the industry and you can pretty much play around as you want. Going back to the next step, we are still in setting objectives. The next area is, once you have calculated it, you need to then focus on your business objective. Now, this is where, depending upon your executive's priority, it can be increasing your market share, or it can be increasing the revenue, or it can be the profitability. So depending upon these three categories, you will choose the right marketing objective or campaign objective. So Google has provided another handy tool called as goal template. Now, this is again pretty cool. As you can see, it's going to ask you a series of questions in terms of, how you can determine what your marketing objective is. So as I scroll down, it's asking like, okay, so for this person who's having a chief marketing officer role, these are the responsibilities and these are the goals. What are the factors that needs to be considered? So as I scroll down, it's giving more details in terms of what you need to fill out. So who are the stakeholders, what are the business objectives, and what are the KPIs for that objective. And this is where you can then truly conclude saying that, okay, my campaign will either focus on increasing the market share, so that's demand generation, brand awareness, or it can be sales, which is revenue, or it can be profitability, where you have strict, the entire funnel and you have a strict cost per acquisition, cost per lead, and you're strictly focusing on profitability. Once you have determined your objective, you can then finalize your marketing objective. And if you don't know how to select a campaign objective in Google Ads, let me know in the comment section, but it's super easy. Now, you then figure out your media objective, and again, this is where you need to consider your performance objective, brand objective, and media objective to figure out what exactly are you trying to achieve. So this is basically your planning phase. That's basically what is going on. The next step is preparing your infrastructure. So step one, figuring it out in terms of your objective, your goals, media objective, all of the planning phase, right? The next phase is getting your digital infrastructure ready for the campaign. Now, this is where, you need to figure out what do you have currently in terms of, targeting assets, and what you can do in terms of making sure that you track properly. Now, the biggest one out there is setting up Google Tag. I have a bunch of videos in my YouTube channel, how to set up Google Tag using Google Tag Manager, how to install Google Analytics 4, how to install conversion tracking, pretty much your entire setup that you will need to track your goals. Now, that is basically what your get ready phase is. And again, as you can see, if you have existing customers that you can utilize for re-engaging or remarketing, you can use that. If you convert your customers offline, let's say you have brick and mortar store, or if you drive traffic to an in-store using online ads, then you can use offline conversion imports to figure out how many people are converting after watching your ad in the offline world. Now, this is where you do that, and then you can add conversion values to your offline actions as well. Now, once you complete setting up Google Tag, which is this one, and your customer match, in case you have a customer list for retargeting, it is then asking you to set up Google Analytics 4. And you need to connect that with Google Ads. Now, I know I'm just talking these things over here, but I have a video for every single thing that is mentioned over here in my YouTube channel. But if you're still confused, let me know in the comment section and I can create a separate video. But essentially, you need to connect your Google Analytics 4 and Google Ads account. And they have, again, a handy video or table in terms of how you can set up enhanced conversion for web and enhanced conversion for leads. This is where you are taking in your first party data and your hash data after conversion to identify how many people are converting after watching or after clicking or engaging with your ad. That's basically what enhanced conversions are. All right, so once you are done with the digital plumbing phase, which is conversion tracking, you then move on to the next phase, which is actually setting up your ads. Now, again, this is where you need to first identify what your bidding strategy is. So I mentioned earlier, if your marketing objective is increasing market share, then you have maximizing cost per click, enhanced cost per click, or maximizing for impressions. If your goal is for revenue, then you need to focus on targeting return on ad spend. If your goal is for profitability, then you have maximizing conversion value, or you can even use target cost per acquisition, which is where you have a set limit in terms of how much you're willing to pay for each lead. That goes back to the first step, the calculator that I showed you. So that's your, bidding strategy that you need to set. And again, Google is giving a handy chart over here in terms of how things will change in terms of value-based strategies versus conversion-only strategies. Then what you need to set up is your actual campaign, and this is where they are providing a bunch of resources, like starting with a keyword planner. Now, keyword planner is great because it's a free tool from Google, but I would recommend using SEMrush or Ahref. Then of course Google is saying that once you have determined your list of keywords, you need to use a broad match, which I don't recommend. Start with at least phrase match, right? If not exact match, start with phrase match. Then you need to create responsive search ads and run a branded search campaign. Well, look, the myth has been demystified over here. Google is officially telling that you need to run a branded search campaign to capture customers who are searching your brand. Okay, that's interesting. Once you are done with your campaign setup, you then add and increase the performance and optimization score by using extensions. Again, these are just a handful of them, such as call extensions, site link extension, callout extension, location extension, direction extension. There's so many of them, right? It's also telling you to use lead form extension. Now, this is pretty interesting because this is where you can actually set up a lead ad. And the best part is the lead form is directly shown within the search campaign or YouTube campaign, and you can download the leads, or you can even sync those leads to your marketing automation or CRM platform. So that's pretty cool. Then what you need to do is, and Google is again saying that, okay, there are different campaigns that you can use for different types of objective, from discovery campaign to video campaign. And of course, they're going to recommend the Performance Max. Well, they should have recommended Performance. Yeah, there you go. Implement a Performance Max campaign, because with Performance Max, what you can do is you can essentially, be available in pretty much all the ad platforms, like from YouTube to discovery to Gmail, search. So that way you maximize the chances. So that's basically your taking action or setting up your campaign, right? Finally, the last phase of this entire growth formula is tracking and evaluating and expansion. So this is where you need to check your optimization score. This is again a very Google focused metric, which will tell you how well your headlines, your descriptions, your overall ad is performing. And if your optimization score drops below 80, that's when you need to jump in and you need to start making changes. Now, I don't recommend this tip over here, even though it says a pro tip, which is basically you can opt in to apply certain recommendations automatically. Nope, a big no. A lot of times these recommendations include increasing budget. It includes changing your keywords from phrase match to broad match, and it includes all kinds of weird things, like changing your bidding to even there was one about I think there was one about targeting. So again, oh yeah, display expansion. So I would not recommend enabling this or opting in, because it's up to then Google to figure out what works best. So I don't want you to do that, at least initially. Then finally, what Google is suggesting is you can use the attribution area to attribute, because there are so many attribution models like last click, first click, time decay. So figuring out what your attribution journey is in Google Ads is super critical, and they have something similar in Google Analytics as well. I would strongly recommend using the conversion path report in GA4 because that's a nice way to, and I hope I will actually show you how the visualization looks in a later video, but it's like, like a funnel. Like step 1, they visit homepage. Step 2, they visit book a demo page. Step 3, they visit the thank you page. So the conversion path report is pretty cool, and you can build that report in GA4. And finally, what Google is recommending is optimizing for your lifetime value. And again, this is important for certain industries. Of course, it's very challenging to calculate your lifetime value in a B2B space. But again, you're essentially trying to optimize your entire funnel for increasing the lifetime value. So as you can see, it's a nice guided way, a step-by-step approach from setting objectives to getting things ready to taking an action to evaluation and expansion in terms of generating leads. So and you can download this entire PDF, and it will walk you through the entire step. This will essentially act like a blueprint for you to set up your entire Google Ads campaign from scratch. I think I found this resource super valuable because this is like packaging all the tools and downloadables and features and functionalities that Google offers to set up an effective Google Ads campaign. Because learning each and every one takes time, and you don't know how you need to implement each of them. But with this blueprint, I would say you can essentially follow a guided approach to enable maximum growth. So that's pretty much it, guys, in terms of how you can use this path for generating leads. In my next video, I will cover another section, maybe to grow online sales or grow omnichannel sales. But if you don't know how to set up a Google Ads campaign from scratch, I have a video in my YouTube channel. Let me know if you have any questions. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment to my channel, and I will see you next time. Thank you, guys.